Shutterstock Music.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of 2018 for Black College Experience. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas in Baton Rouge, and I have on with me from Atlanta, Georgia, the founder of Black College Experience, Diva Keisha Kales. Kelly, how you doing, girl?
I am doing well. It is a new year. Welcome back. 2 weeks off, and so much has happened. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everyone. So much has gone on. First, I'll start by saying, tonight, of course, we do have a guest. We do have assistant coach Alfred Jordan that's going to be calling in the second half for Clark Atlanta women's basketball team. But if you're not following, of course, we are on Spreaker.com. Make sure you catch us. Like our Facebook page, Black College Experience. Follow us on Twitter, Black College EXP. We're on Instagram at Black College Experience as well. If you want to call in, it's 719-373-6861. PIN number is 49170, and that's where you can call in and ask any questions. So, Derek, how do you want to kick it off? What's been going on in HBCU sports that you want to talk about first?
Well, first off, I know it's basketball season. But we have to finish up football, talking about some of the new faces that have been hired to lead the football programs across the HBCU platform. There have been some surprise hires and some not surprise hires. And a couple schools still have interim coaches. A lot of rumors going on, but I put my ear down to the pavement and find out one of those rumors was not necessarily true. We'll find out later on as the coaching search persists. But as we know, Prairie View and FAMU have new head coaches. That's right. Coach Willie Simmons left Prairie View to be the new head coach at Florida A&M. Prairie View then hired Grambling offensive coordinator Dooley as their new head coach. Also, Alvin Parker was hired at Virginia Union, so he's going to walk into a pretty good program there. And my alma mater, and I was a little skeptical of this hire because it's a Jackson State Tiger, but he has brought some excitement to the Valley program. Former Jackson State Tiger, yes, I remember him playing in college. Vincent Dancy has been hired as the new head coach at my alma mater, Mississippi Valley State University, and he is recruiting some very good talent to Valley. These young men have not committed yet, but he's going after some guys who made All-State and All-Metro. Tony Brown, a young man who plays running back, ran for over 3,000 yards, and as everyone knows, my Delta Devils could not run the ball this year. Also, surprise, Arkansas Pine Bluff hired Cedric Thomas off the Alcorn staff to be their head coach. And, I like that hire. Jackson State also hired a new offensive coordinator, none other than the creator of the air raid, Hal Mumme. Hal Mumme is a coach I've known about for a long time. I first found out about him when he was coaching in Kentucky, but he has coached all over the FBS landscape, and that is going to be key. He was a head coach at Belhaven Kells, and from what I'm told, he just wanted to coach offense. And that is something that Coach Mumme knows very well, offense. And that was Jackson State's major problem last year was offense. So, I think he's going to help the program out. I think he's going to definitely help improve that offense. Jackson State did bring in some good signees, so we'll see. So that's all I want to talk about as far as HBCU football coaches. I just can't wait to see, how these coaches mold their programs. Your coach staying on for another year. Fobbs coming back. Hughes coming back. Texas Southern coach still there. We had some change, but we also had some coaches stay put, Kels.
Well, and you can't forget about Alabama State because they had a coaching change to use as well. then that's fine. But if we look at things, you look at people like, Willie Simmons, and it's like he's going back home. You look at Dewey. You have to say, okay, you have Dewey that's leaving Grambling. You saying, where does this put Prairie View, and where does this put Grambling? Where does that put them in the pieces of the puzzle? Does it make a lot of difference? Does it change? Does it make it anything different for Prairie View? So, these are going to be great things that are going to be happening. One of the things that I am looking forward to, honestly, is seeing what Vincent Dancy is going to do over at Mississippi Valley State. I'm very curious to see what's going to turn around, because as we both know, we see that it just didn't turn around with Comegy. And, I always say this school can have the potential to recruit, because Jerry Rice came out of that school. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Vincent Dancy as far as recruiting, as far as, what's going to happen, how he'll turn this program around. And I think there is potential to do it. It's going to be exciting season. It's always an exciting season when football season is coming up. So I'm excited nevertheless. Of course, I know you're excited because it's your school. So I guess we'll have to wait to see what happens.
I guess so. Like I said, there's a lot of excitement. Vincent Dancy is a very young head coach. And the thing is, we as alums have to get behind the program and get behind the coach, because there's a lot of talent in the Delta. We know because other SWAC schools have been plucking the talent out of the Delta, and these young men need to know that they can stay in the Delta and help Valley achieve something that we haven't ever achieved before. As far as in my memory, as winning a SWAC championship, or at least competing, being a major player in the SWAC. No more SWAC championship game for right now, but who knows? That may change. Speaking of the SWAC championship game and changes in SWAC leadership, Kills, there were rumors stated that Dewey Sharp was going to be removed from his position as chairman of the SWAC, commission of the SWAC. That has now been made official. He has been replaced and removed. There is an interim commissioner named, and his name is, okay, all right, so Anna Dunn wants to act funny. I think his name is Gant. He has been named commissioner several times before, so, we're going to have some new leadership, some new blood leadership leading the SWAC this year. I told you, Kez, maybe you want that job, right?
I do not want the job. It is too much for me. I always say we are so cutthroat. You know how detailed we are when it comes to us. We are very cutthroat when it comes to us, and we're very critical to us in our game. So, no, definitely not a game that I will want. I can hang with y'all all the time, but that's definitely not a position that I would want to put myself in. Definitely not. I enjoy watching it from the sidelines. I enjoy talking about it from the sidelines, but I definitely, those are like critical. Okay, we need you to get up here and make this decision right now. And I'm like, under that kind of pressure, no, just
I think you would be great at it, though. I mean,
could you imagine that? Could you imagine?
I don't think we've ever had a female commissioner SWAC, right?
Correct.
So,
correct. We have not.
You know how you are by blazing trails.
Correct.
So
correct. We never have, and it would be awesome. It would be an awesome move. I think there are potential women that could take it over. I mean, even when you look at people like Paula Jackson, I think that could be a person of potential that could take over,
right.
Maybe with some more stuff, added into her resume. But I think that is a person of potential that could take over and do something with the SWAC. Even the the athletic director over at Alabama State, potential. So it's some women out here that I feel like can really set the tone and be like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed. And before we talk about basketball, last little tidbit of football news I want to discuss. The FCS awards have been handed out. And, of course, HBCU history, everyone knows about our history as far as HBCU sports goes, so especially football. Eddie Robinson, Buck Buchanan, Walter Payton, Jerry Rice. Those awards were given out, Kills. And, no HBCU player won an award. We had a couple finish in the top 25 for the Walter Payton Award, and offensive lineman Brandon Parker finished in the top 10. The two top quarterbacks were in the 20s. An offensive lineman was in the top 10. But Buchanan Award, which goes to the Defensive Player of the Year, was our representative from that was Darius Leonard from South Carolina State. He finished 5th in that award. Coach, the Eddie Robinson Award, no HBCU coach has won that since Henry Frazier did in 2009 out of Prairie View. The Jerry Rice Award, a fairly new award given to the nation's most outstanding freshman player. I don't understand why they didn't make that the most outstanding wide receiver, being that Jerry Rice out of my alma mater, also my chapter frat, was an all-world wide receiver. No HBCU player has ever won that award, being that award is fairly new, being given in 2011. When I called you to ask you about this, I wanted you to stew on it so that you could, kind of think about all 4 most well-known HBCU namesakes have awards in FCS football where HBCU athletes are not really considered for these awards. Talk to me about what do you think about that?
Okay, before I talk to you, let's go ahead and take a commercial break, and we'll come back, and I'll give you my exact opinion.
All right, so we'll be right back in 31 seconds for more on Black College Experience.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's gonna happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and we do have a caller on the line, and that is my line brother, Patrick Perry. And I guess after Keisha gives her opinion on the topic we're discussing, we can ask Patrick what he thinks about this situation. So, Kels, you have the floor, sister.
Okay, in hindsight, the same thing we discussed earlier. I really feel that it not only is it a slap in the face, but I really think it's a disservice for us to use names like Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, no matter what the name is. If it's coming out of a HBCU, let's just put facts to facts and fiction to fiction. You're using HBCU greats. You're using all-time greats. Let's remove the HBCU from it. You're using all-time greats that came out of HBCUs, but you're not giving HBCU athletes the chance to receive the award. I think that's a slap in the face, and I think it's a disservice and a dishonor to do such a thing that you're not even giving them a chance to receive the award. Sure, on a higher platform, even looking at NFL stuff that, they're talking about Man of the Year award, and, you're quick to attach the Walter Payton to the titles, but you have not given us the chance to receive the award. So I think it's unfair in hindsight for them to do something like that.
Right. I agree with you. And PP, how you doing?
All right.
Well, what we're discussing right now, LB, is the 4 major FCS awards named after HBCU players. HBCU athletes are rarely in the running for these awards. For instance, the Walter Payton Award has been given out since 1987. And Walter Dean won it in 1990. Steve McNair won it in 1994. So from 1994 on, no HBCU player has won this award. Sam Houston State's Jeremiah Briscoe, a potential NFL draft pick in the 2018 draft, has won the award the past 2 years. Cooper Kupp, a wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, is enjoying a stellar rookie season, won it in 2015. But no HBCU players. The Buck Buchanan Award. Let's see, Chris McNeil, a defensive end out of North Carolina A&T, has been the only HBCU player to win the award in 1997. This year's award winner was Darius Jackson out of Jacksonville State. He is a defensive end. The Jerry Rice Award, which has been awarded since 2011, has no HBCU award winners. And I mentioned earlier the Eddie Robertson Award, which has been awarded since 1987. And I'm just going down this list. The only HBCU recipient of this award was Henry Frazier III in 2009 out of Prairie View A&M. This year's recipient was Will Healy out of Austin Peay, and last year's recipient was K.C. Killer out of Sam Houston State. LB, tell us, what do you think about our HBCU namesakes being given the honor of having an award named after them, but the institutions where these people made their names, those athletes are not giving an opportunity to truly earn these awards?
The one that stood out to me was the Austin Peay one, because they didn't even make the FCS playoffs this year, I don't believe, and they gave him to Coach of the Year over the only undefeated team in FCS, only 2 undefeated teams in Division I football, and A&T is one of them, and you didn't give it to. Oh, come on, man, that's a joke right there.
Well, my LB says it. I mean, I do think it is a joke, and you know we're discussing this because these are our athletes. These are our trailblazers for football, and these awards are named after them. But a wide receiver or an offensive freshman of the year from an HBCU won't have a chance to get nominated or considered properly for this award. Yes, we had a few in the top 25 for the Martha Payton Award. Yes, we had a top 5 finisher in the Buck Buchanan Award. But, you know, and Christmas was in the top 20 out of Grambling. But these awards are named for HBCU athletes. HBCU athletes should have a chance to win these awards. I understand these awards are for the entire FCS. I understand the HBCU sports and football is only just a part of the FCS, but it's a bigger picture to me. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't our HBCU athletes being truly considered, a top 5 finish, a top 10 finish for an offensive lineman who is potentially a high second or third round pick, depending on how he performs at the combine. You know, Brandon Parker out of A&T truly deserves this honor. But the 2 quarterbacks, Devontae Kincaid and his name is escaping me right now. The quarterback for A&T. He's going to be back. Yeah, he's going to be back to tear up the MEAC again. So, will he have a chance to improve on his top 20 finish? Or have a chance to win it if he puts on a stellar season? So, you know, it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me, you know, because when I initially saw the awards, and I was like, you know, when was the last time HBCU player actually won this award? And when I went and I looked, and I was like, wow, the numbers are staggering. Excuse me. Over the amount of HBCU athletes that have not won these namesake awards named for HBCU football legends. So, you know, I don't know what could be done about it, if anything. I think the honor is amazing to have awards named after our trailblazers. But what about the next group of HBCU trailblazers? Will they have a chance to win these awards named after HBCU football legends, y'all? All right. Now, that's basically all the news I had for football related. And we all know the 2018 signals the end of the football season and starts basketball season. And let's see here. I just heard we have a caller on the line. And I think that is our guest. Kels, you want to take another quick commercial break before we announce our guest?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of Black College Experience, and we'll have our guest. Coach Alfred Jordan of CAU.
Are you interested in attending an historically black college or university? Hello, my name is Robert Mason. I'm president and founder of the Common Black College application. Our application allows you to apply to any number of 44 historically black colleges and universities at the same time for only $35. So visit our website at www.commonblackcollegeapp.com to apply now. Thank you, and get educated.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with more Black College Experience, and we have a caller on the line, and I'm pretty sure it's our guest. So, Kels, go ahead and introduce our guest and tell our audience a little bit about him.
All right, well, we do have Coach Alfred Jordan, which is a 2009 graduate of Clark Atlanta University. So you see that he just basically went back to his alma mater to coach. Now, he did get a degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing. He has served as an assistant coach with the Clark Atlanta University Panthers for the last 8 seasons. Now, I'm not going to go into too much of that bio. I'm going to let Coach Jordan come on and tell us about his team that's pretty much rolling and going. They just have one conference loss. And I have known this coach basically, I think he said 2010, I think he said. So it's been a minute. So y'all know I just keep in contact and just kind of dig people up. But without further ado, here we are from Clark Atlanta University women's basketball team, Coach Alfred Jordan.
Hey, good evening, everyone. And I'm with the men's basketball team.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing all right, Coach Jordan.
Okay, yeah. So, so far this season, it has been somewhat successful for us. Last year, as you guys may know, we won the 2017 SIAC Conference Tournament Championship, and we had a team that had 5 seniors on it that we had lost. And this year, we brought in basically a brand-new team, only 2 guys from the returning team from last year, and we added another 7 guys. And normally it takes teams to the middle of January to start peaking and getting things rolling. And me and Coach Walker just talk about it every day, how far ahead of schedule we are, because currently we're 14-1, 8-0 in the conference, and on a 9-game winning streak, and we're just trying to build on that as of right now.
Right, I see that. I mean, the East is top heavy. I mean, you have Claflin, Morehouse, and your Clark Atlanta squad all undefeated in the conference. So something's going to have to give there. Someone's going to take some L's. I know you're hoping that it's not your squad, that you want to drop those first conference L's on Morehouse and Claflin, Coach.
Yes, but one thing Coach Walker has instilled on me since he's been here is we're going to just take it one game at a time. People always ask me, the first thing is, so how good is Morehouse? When's the Morehouse game? And my response is, well, that game is in February, and right now our focus is Albany State, who we play next Saturday, because, sometimes you can look ahead to the other juggernaut teams and get caught slipping by some of the teams that are playing average basketball right now. And, we tell our guys every day, being that we're the defending champions, every night, no matter what the records are of our opponents, they're going to come and give us our best game, because it's nothing like dethroning a champion.
I agree with you. I'm going to start off. So, Coach, go ahead and talk to us a little bit about yourself and why you chose to attend an HBCU, and a little bit about your basketball career, playing-wise.
Well, when I was coming out of high school, I went to Cardinal Hayes in the Bronx, and at the time, as funny as this may sound, the music industry was definitely geared towards the South. And I went to a program that was called Reach for the Stars in Harlem, New York. And we went on a college tour of a bunch of HBCUs. And I got the chance to visit Clark Atlanta. And, I just fell in love. I also had a cousin who was a music producer at the time who was living down here. So it made it a lot more easy for me to make the transition, knowing that I had a close family member down here in the area. And playing-wise, I walked on actually in 2006 under the direction of Coach Darryl Jacobs. And it was a good experience for myself. I knew as a walk-on there would be games I would play, games I wouldn't play. And I was the model teammate. Whether I was getting in the game or not, I would cheer my teammates on. I started paying attention to the game a little bit more and, helping teammates out if they wanted to get extra shots in the gym. I was in the gym with them rebounding, and it almost got to a point where during timeouts, players were gravitating towards me because, we were in the gym so much, they would ask me, well, what am I doing wrong with my shot? And I would tell them little small adjustments. And, sometimes during timeouts, Coach Jacobs allowed me to give him my insight on things that I thought we could do a little bit better. And after I graduated, he gave me an opportunity to actually join his coaching staff. And the rest from there has been history. And, I always tell people I've been surviving the perfect storm because since I've been here at Clark Atlanta, it's literally been 2 different presidents. We're on our 3rd now. I've been under 4 different athletic directors, and this is the 4th coaching staff that I've been a part of. And, if you know sports, normally when the administration turns over like that, normally they clean house, but I don't know if this is just God or I'm just where I'm supposed to be, but I just been surviving a perfect storm.
Right, and that just shows, that's just a testament to your ability and what the new coaching staff sees in your work. I mean, for you to survive, you said 4 coaching staffs?
Yes, sir.
Wow, I mean, that just shows that you have the ability to adjust and adapt to any environment. And to me, that is a trait that will help you as you move along in your coaching career. Do you have any aspirations to one day be a head coach?
Oh, definitely. And I think more so now after being under Coach Walker for these last 2 years, he's definitely helped me a lot as far as growing as a coach. And I think that, I'm definitely ready for the step, but, I'm just staying loyal to Coach Walker and I'm just waiting my turn because I know eventually God will bless me with that opportunity. But until I get my own opportunity, it's just my job right now to run through a wall for Coach Walker and to make sure that his job is easy as a head coach.
Right. And like I said, you were planting the seeds early on, even as a player. And Coach Jacobs saw those seeds, and he helped you water them, give them a little sunlight, and then he started you sprouting as a coach by giving you your first opportunity. And like you said, you've been, able to, I guess you could say, survive the perfect storm with all the change around you. And the one constant that has been you on the CAU men's basketball staff has been yourself, right? Or have any other coaches been retained?
No, it's just been myself.
And that, like I said, that just shows a testament to your hard work and what you bring to the squad. And right now, you're serving as the recruiting analyst, correct?
Yes, sir.
Recruiter. So talk to us about a little bit about how you go about finding athletes for Clark Atlanta.
Well, one of the things that I say is always helpful is when you recruit a kid and you live up to every expectation and everything you tell these kids when they get to your campus and you see them through graduating, your old players recruit for you. And a lot of the times I get phone calls from guys that I recruited and they're telling me, we may have this guy, you should take a look at him. And a lot of my former coaches that I played for in New York, they give me phone calls and I work the phone every day. I also brought in someone on our staff named Darryl Frazier. He's a graduate assistant of ours. He's currently attending Valdosta State. And when I tell you, even though he's young, he's connected. He's very connected. And every day we're in here on the computer, we're hitting the road, and we're just trying to find the best available talent.
All right, Kels.
Okay. So now, Coach, it's my turn. So, you talk about how you're able to survive. Now, when you talk about being the assistant, for 8 years and you're saying, okay, yeah, maybe one day, and I see you're sowing the seeds. That's the great thing because you're staying the ground until it's your time. With that possibility of going to a head coaching position, would you see yourself staying in an HBCU or would you see yourself going outside of an HBCU, going to like another conference?
Pretty much it'll have to be the best fit for myself and my family because if we're talking about relocating, it has to be somewhere where I would be comfortable. But me and Coach Walker, we talk about it every day, how eventually someone is going to crack one of those top 100 ESPN recruits and bring them to a HBCU. And by all means, I would love to be the first coach to do it, because every HBCU to me has its potential. It's just a matter of, how you treat your program and how you carry yourself as a coach. Because even though I'm at Clark Atlanta University, I work hard every day as if I was at Duke University. I don't, let where I'm at in the name of the school change my work ethic. And, I think a HBCU can eventually win a Division I national championship. And if it could be me to be the first coach to ever do it, that is definitely a goal of mine.
Okay, and yeah, I see that. And, that's the great thing. So, again, you talk about, you got Albany State coming up, and, you talk about that. You don't look at, other teams. It's just the case of, okay, a team can be 5-9 or a team can be 9-0. So what are your expectations with Albany State coming up? What are you expecting with that coming up?
Well, one thing I know about Albany State is Coach Moore, he trains his guys really hard, and they're in very good shape. And I know he goes with the platoon system where he likes to sub guys in 5 in and 5 out. So, this week we actually don't have a game until next Saturday when we play them. So our main focus for the first 3 days in practice is definitely going to be conditioning, because, we want to get our guys in the best possible shape that they can be in for this game, because we know it's going to be a lot of up and down fast breaks, and we just want to be able to, play out at our pace and at the same time keep up with them.
Oh, and so now, Coach, this season, we talk about recruiting, and one of my things is always mainly when we talk about football. And I know you're basketball, but I know a lot of times when coaches do recruiting, some of them stay inside the region. Some of them like to go outside of the state. Some people like to go to the next state over, the next 2 states over. Do you have a system in place when you're recruiting as to how you recruit players? Hey, I'm going to go to Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, or Georgia, whatever. Do you have a system into place as to how you recruit?
Actually, we always go for the best available talent. And, if the best available talent is in New York, Atlanta, Chicago, we're going to go after it. And if you look at our roster, we have, pretty much every region of the country on the roster. We have someone from Utah, California, Chicago, several guys from the New York area, Florida, and Atlanta. So, we get a lot of city kids and we put it together. So, we try not to focus on just one region or, just the area. Wherever there's talent, we want to get the best talent that's willing to come to our university.
Okay, and then so now let's look at this upcoming season. I know you've had your past seasons, and you always want to get back to that championship realm. How do you feel about this upcoming season as far as, how can you get back to the championship label? How do you feel about this upcoming season? Because I know it's still early, but you're still driving. How do you feel about this upcoming season? Are there any teams, I always say on the roster, I know it's one game at a time, but are there any teams that you look at and you figure that you have to focus more on versus another team?
Well, we try not to, put one team on a pedestal, but, of course, it's always going to be that rivalry there with Morehouse, and, Coach Brewer has them rolling right now. They're currently undefeated. And then Benedict College, Coach Watson, they're normally the cream of the crop in our conference, and they're 14-3. And then there's Claflin, who's also 16-1, and they won approximately 14 games in a row. So, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll start taking on those guys. And, being that the majority of us are undefeated, those are the games that when we get to them, we're definitely going to circle them. And I'm curious to see how my team is going to respond to that competition. I want to see, if they're going to bring it from the jump and everything of that nature, because, we've been struggling a little bit with slow starts, and, eventually talent has willed us through a lot of games, and we know we haven't peaked yet, which is a scary thing for a team that's sitting 14-1. But I think once we put everything together, I think our biggest enemy will be us.
Right.
Okay. Now, I see, looks like you played Clark on down. What is that, February? Is that when y'all played? Oh, excuse me, when you played Morehouse. I'm sorry. You played Morehouse in February?
Yes.
Okay. and of course this is a long stretch because we still don't know. They're undefeated now, but we don't know where they will be at that time. Your team is playing good classic basketball as well. That matchup, this is a long stretch, but many prepare ahead of time for what they think is to come. What are you thinking about that upcoming game that's all the way out? But what are you thinking? Now, this is a stretch, but I got to do it. How do you prepare for games down the stretch?
Well, when it comes to Morehouse, in Claflin as well, and even Benedict, they have a lot of guys returning. I believe Morehouse and Claflin, they have about 11 players from last year. So, pretty much myself and Coach Walker, when we were doing scouting reports last season, we kept a foul on each team. And that's how we've actually been, moving along this year. We've just been looking back at our foul and looking at the offenses and looking at film and seeing if anything changed besides just the personnel. And, we put game plans together for certain teams. If we know they like to do certain things, we, try to take it away from them. And, that's pretty much how we prepare for those type of teams. Preparation is very, very important. And also organization. And, that's something I also learned from Coach Walker, because before Coach Walker got here, when I was done with a scouting report, I used to just throw them away and say, I'll just do it next year when I cross that hurdle. And, actually keeping everything from last year has been helping me scout teams even better this year.
Something I wanted to mention. I decided to do some digging into your head coach's background. You have the honor of being able to pick NBA champions brain, a coach who has coached in the NBA and was an all NBA first team player in the NBA. Talk to us about, the strategy that Coach Walker utilizes, and what are you learning from him, even with his vast wealth of basketball knowledge? Because, for an HBCU to have someone of his, I guess you can say, experience, I think it's a win-win, because he definitely knows the game of basketball. He's played it, he's won, and he's coached it at the highest level.
Well, having Coach Walker has been a blessing for my career, and especially with recruiting, because it's not a lot of colleges, even on the Division I level, that can say, hey, we have a former NBA champion that's our head coach that also coached in the WNBA, in the NBA as well. So, that's definitely helped us out tremendously on the recruiting trail. And if you know Coach Walker's background, he was very, very big in the NBA for defense, and that's our biggest goal when we're putting things together with any team that we're bringing in. The first thing we look at is, how many points we give up at halftime, how many points we gave up, for a whole game, and field goal percentages that we hold teams to. And every day in practice, we do shell drill every day for at least 30 to 45 minutes. And I think that's very key, because every team goes through a stretch in the game where you're making shots, and then you go through a stretch of a game when you're missing shots. But one thing that you can do for 40 minutes in basketball is defend. And a lot of these games that we might have won by 5 or 6 points is because we probably was off offensively, but we grinded it out on the defensive end. And, it was the difference. And from him, I've learned a lot, especially when it comes to play calling, because I like to call him the mad scientist, because I'll walk into his office and he'll have X's and O's all over the place. But, like I told people before, these X's and O's turns into game-winning plays. There's plenty of times where we're in huddles and he's drawing up plays, and then, everybody on the team look around at each other in amazement, like, wow. And then, when they implement it, it's a thing of beauty, because last year when we did win the conference championship, we won with a buzzer beater that looked like a broken play, but it was actually something that he drew up in the huddle. So, one thing I learned from him is definitely drawing up better plays.
Right, and, he definitely has a background in defense and definitely offense. Just looking at it, his best season, I guess you could say he was almost Russell Westbrook before Russell Westbrook, because he almost averaged a triple-double.
Oh, yeah. I believe that was the season he was with the Denver Nuggets, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the Bullets.
Oh yeah, with the Bullets. Yep, yeah. It was extraordinary, and even if you look at his college highlights when he was with the Arkansas Razorbacks, he actually looked like a young Russell Westbrook going up and down the court, jumping and dunking everything.
I just think that having him there is a benefit for you, and like you said, for a HBCU program like Clark, because like you said, most college programs, yeah. I mean, let's look at this. Yeah, Coach K, he has all the wins, all of the accolades. But if you put Coach K on the floor with Coach Walker, who you gonna pick? They gonna pick Coach Walker to
I'm
take
definitely
Coach
going
K
to pick Coach Walker. Definitely going with Coach
K to
Walker.
school. I mean, Coach K, yeah, I'm pretty sure he played the game pretty well, but he ain't got no ring for playing. I mean, I just think that this is good. I hope he stays at Clark for a while. I hope you glean as much knowledge as you can from him, because I mean, you basically have a treasure chest of knowledge, and of course of players and other coaches that he has learned from to pick his brain from, just to make yourself a better coach. Period.
Yes, it truly is a blessing, and I'm a sponge every day, and I try to soak up as much as I can from him. And myself and Coach Frazier, we'll sit in his office the majority of the day watching film, and it was just funny listening to the language he used on certain, like using the word pace, for example, and saying always hit the replace guy. And then now you turn to the NBA, and now you hear these NBA analysts saying exactly what he's been telling us every day in his office. And it's just broadened my horizon to the next level. And, I'm definitely not letting that opportunity slip or go past me, because I ask him questions about everything. Even if it's certain things that I know about, I'll ask him just to see his perspective, just to help me out even more.
All right, Kels.
Okay. Coach, let me ask you, and I don't know, maybe you hit this and I missed it. Seniors, how many seniors do you have on the team right now?
This year we have 5 seniors.
Okay, and out of those 5 seniors, anyone that particularly stands out?
I would have to say A.J. Williams. He's our returning starting point guard from last year. And, he's a very, very humble guy. He works hard. And, he's a perfect student athlete, model citizen on campus, an ambassador for our program. If I need him for anything and call on him, whether it's on the court or off the court, he's very reliable. And, it's even to the point where he's been around my son so much. My son comes home and he, asks me about AJ a lot. And, he's just a very good kid. I believe this past semester he had about a 3.2 GPA. And, I'm on him more than I am anybody else, because he plays the point guard position. And, that's the head of the snake. And I always tell him, if the head doesn't do right, the body's going to fall. So, I'm in his ear every day. Even when he does good, I don't even let him know he's doing good, because, I tell him he can always go to another level.
Okay. Derek, you have anything else?
I don't know. I mean, it's been an awesome experience to have you on, and just to learn, who you have as the head coach there, and the knowledge that you're gleaning off of him, and the leadership that he's brought to that Clark program. I mean, I can't wait to see how he continues to build this program, winning a SIAC title in his first year, challenger for another in the second year. And, like I said, you have a senior-laden team, how he's going to build that program with you and Coach Frazier going forward. I just can't wait to see what the future of Clark Atlanta basketball looks like going forward.
I appreciate that.
So, all right. Well, Coach, we do appreciate you for coming on. We do. I will be out, of course, checking out some of the games this season. I wish you much luck on your tenure at Clark, and that you'll continue as a coach there and everything that's going on with the season.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Coach.
And we'll talk to you later.
And just know you
are
now family, Coach. So you don't have to have an invite to call in. You make sure you can call in anytime if any of your players want to call in just to listen or chat with us. their family now, so feel free to stay with us, even if you just want to call in and check in. If you're on the road, or if you're in the high streak, or just want to check in with us and let us know how you're doing.
Okay, will do. Definitely will take that invite.
All right. Have a good night, Coach.
All right, you guys do the same.
All right.
Good night.
All right.
Kels,
Yes.
I swear you know how to find them, girl.
I I find them. I do. They're all over the place. But they are, for in hindsight, some people that I've known. He's somebody that I've known for a while. So very, very happy to have had him on.
Now, PP wasn't on with us when we talked earlier about the head coaching. And before we talk about basketball over the HBCU landscape, PP, talk to us about what do you think about Coach Dancy's hire at Valley?
Well, I mean, be honest, I mean, the only thing that might have rubbed some, alums in the wrong way was that he's a Jackson State alum. But then when you dig deeper, you see that his parents are both Valley alums.
That's right.
Everything else he checks, you know. He said he was going to recruit Mississippi, and the 6 people we signed are all from Mississippi. And then he's young. We know, I mean, he done signed the young, defensive coordinator. So you imagine, you imagine the defensive coordinator probably. That's the most important hire he needs to make. Have a young offensive coordinator. I mean, right now, I mean, so far so good. We just have to wait and see how the rest of his staff feels out.
Right, and that's what I'm waiting to see, you know, who he hires as his coordinators, and we're still waiting on that information. I'm going to trump for a HBCU friend of mine, also a former guest of Black College Experience, and also a young man who transferred to Valley and led Valley to some offensive highs, and that is Aries Nelson, who's an offensive coach at Kahoma Community College in Clarksdale. So he's a Valley alum. He knows the Delta. That's been one of his sticking points, that he wants to get Delta athletes at the Valley. So who knows? Maybe Coach Dancy will add Aries to the staff, even if not an offensive coordinator, maybe quarterback coach, because that was his specialty. All I know is, Kels, if Coach Dancy gets some athletes, y'all Jaguars better watch out. That's all I got to say. Nah.
Well, the thing is that, you know, in this early commitment, we did do some good things. So I'm kind of excited to see what my coach is going to do. You know, coming up, or what my team is going to do coming up. We did do well in this early commitment, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yes, indeed. But now we're going to talk some basketball. And before we talk about scores and standings, there is one young lady we need to definitely shine some light on. She's definitely been in the spotlight lately, all on ESPN, getting shout-outs from LeBron James and other professional athletes, and that is none other than Grambling Shakala Hill. She made history with a rare quadruple double, and that is she had 15 points, 10 steals, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds in the Tigers' 93-71 win over Alabama State on January 4th. Talk to us. Y'all tell us what y'all think about this young lady's feat, and what do you think about the exposure she's given for herself, for Grambling, and for HBCUs across the board.
Well, my personal opinion, I said it today, and I'll say it again. I feel like, you know, what she did was a really good thing. You know, when you garner attention from James Harden, you got LeBron James, they're both talking about her. But one of the things, you know, you talking about in almost 25 years, one of the things that I respect, first of all, it's coming from women's basketball and it's coming from HBCU basketball. But one of the most important things for us is that we have to show our own. We have to show our own respect. We have to show our own love. we can't wait till LeBron James gets on Twitter or James Harden gets on Twitter or till she make it to, see Jamel Hill and Michael before we say, okay, this is what these people are doing at HBCU sports. We have to, I'm not saying us in particular, but we have to show love to these people. We have to support it. I say it all the time. We owe it to these kids that go out here in these sports every year, every week. We owe it to them to support them. So I think what she did was really awesome. I can't imagine how she's feeling with all these celebrities. I call LeBron my cousin, but I think it's a great thing.
Indeed. PP, what do you think about what this young lady accomplished?
Man, for her to do that at Grambling, she was basically the basketball story for 24 hours, and for her to do that for Grambling and the SWAC as a whole, that was just a good look all over. Getting shout out from Chris Paul and James Harden. And then Sports Center was the first one to really. I had to tag Sports Center in order to get them to recognize it. You know what I'm saying, on Twitter, I had to get them to tag it and recognize it.
Props out to you for doing that. Props out to you, because everybody was like, "Oh, Kel, did you see Sports Center?" Props on to you for getting it done. Thank you so much. That's what we call people sticking together, because everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Sports Center." So they ain't tell me it was you that did it. Thank you.
Yeah, Sports Center got all those millions of followers on Twitter. Once it got out there, everybody jumped on it, Sports Illustrated and all that, and it was just a good look all the way around for her and Grambling and the SWAC as a whole.
And here we have the person who responsible as a regular contributor to our podcast, Black College Experience, my line brother, Patrick Perry. So he's doing this thing, putting his name out there, and that's a good thing for my alma mater and also us. So people, we're thankful that you did what you did to get this situation noticed. But on to scores. Kels, we had the Bayou Classic of basketball yesterday down here in Baton Rouge, and I know you're happy about those scores, right?
Bayou Classics of basketball, as you called it. Southern did walk away with the win, both men and women. Pretty excited about that whole situation. I'm glad that we did secure the win, because we did need to win in SWAC play. We did drop two SWAC games, so I am pretty excited that we did walk away with a W in this case.
All right, and just to run down the women's scores for this past week. Starting on, we're gonna start on January 3rd. Texas Southern defeated Alcorn 91-57. Prairie View defeated Southern 69-62. These are women's scores, 69-62. Grambling State blows out Alabama State. That was Shakayla's quadruple double game, and Jackson State blows out Alabama A&M 59-43. From this weekend's games, we have Prairie View defeating Texas Southern 61-56. Alabama A&M defeating Pine Bluff 52-49. Your Jaguars beating up on the Grambling State Lady Tigers 63-44. And Jackson State women topping Alcorn 74-51. And an early look at the standings for basketball have the Lady Tigers of Jackson State undefeated in the SWAC, 8-4 overall. That is an awesome preseason and conference record to start off with. Grambling at 2-1, that taking their first loss to your Jags. Prairie View and Southern also at 2-1. Teams at 1-2, Alabama A&M, Texas Southern, Alcorn State, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Alabama State, and our Lady Devilettes PPR 0-1, 0-13 overall. I saw you post something about the Mississippi State Lady basketball team. About the coach being her first year, having a young team. You really don't think she's going to last?
This pretty much it's a wash here because, Ashley is overseas playing basketball and Christine, I don't know where she's at, but you can't lose that much scoring and have your two leading scorers just be guards. We don't have any size whatsoever. So,
Well,
this year just a wash for us. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the new coach will be able to recruit to get some Delta athletes so that we can, make some noise in the SWAC on the sides of women's basketball. Jumping over to the men. Let's see here. Men's basketball. All right. Starting from games from January 3rd. Jackson State defeated Alabama A&M 59-56. Alabama State defeats Grambling 74-66. Texas Southern blows out Alcorn 85-70, and Prairie View beats up on Southern 78-74. On this weekend's games, Texas Southern beats Prairie View 194. Pine Bluff beats Alabama A&M 69-62. Jackson State beats Alcorn 60-55. Southern blows out Grambling 80-69. Alabama State topped our Delta Devils PP 63-46. And for standings in the men, let's see what we have here. And of course, Jackson State tops in the SWAC again, tied with Texas Southern with both with 3-0 records. Prairie View sits behind those two at 2-1. Also with Alabama State, our Delta Devils sit at 1-1, along with Pine Bluff. Southern at 1-2, Alabama A&M at 1-2, and Alcorn and Grambling at the bottom, both with goose eggs 0-3 in the SWAC. So early on, it looks like Jackson State and Texas Southern are the two lead dogs in the SWAC. But we all know Southern have their new coach, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have his bumps. But when Southern played Baylor this year, I don't know if you saw the game last year, Kels and PP, but last year the Southern Jags, when they played Baylor, they kind of played scared. This year, when I saw Southern play Baylor, those young men played with swagger. They didn't care that they were on the court with a Big 12 powerhouse. They challenged. They played defense. Yes, they lost, but they played hard. And I think that's going to be something to look for as Southern tries to round in the form with this new head coach they have. And, of course, we all know our Delta Devils, PP. Are we still living and dying by the three?
And we bad this year, man. Us and Coppin State, we the only teams that don't have a win here in Division I basketball. We don't have any wins. So,
well, by the record, we're 1-1 in the SWAC. So we beat somebody. I don't know who we beat. Let me see if I can find that.
No, we lost to UAPB.
Oh, well, look like the SWAC.org is wrong. Then they got us having a victory and sitting at 1-1 in the SWAC.
We don't have any wins.
Oh wow. Oh well. Well, I'm not gonna talk in the noise whenever we play Southern this year, Kel. So you don't have to worry about me bothering you about saying we're gonna dunk all over the Jags and Lady Jags, because we ain't beating nobody. So
it's still early. SWAC play just got underway, so it's still early. Of course, we get into this conference play, so it's still early on. But of course, everyone knows, of course, track is kicking off. Actually, over the weekend, they had at LSU. They had the LSU Purple Tigers weighted throw, and actually, what happens is, I know they did have Southern, they had Grambling, they had Texas Southern. So what happens is for the top 9 people, they actually advance on to the finals, and actually, they had 2 young ladies from Southern that actually advanced. So track season is getting ready to kick off. Of course, you have baseball season. So many things are getting ready to kick off in lieu of basketball. But yeah. So before we get out of here, just to let everybody know, I am headed to Virginia this week, the HBCU Spirit of America Dream Bowl, where, of course, I will be the media person. A lot of stuff that I got to cover, a lot of stuff that we got to do. But I am headed to Roanoke, Virginia, hopefully to capture as much as I can, get as many interviews as I can, get whatever I can. Very excited about this experience for exposure, not only for BCE, but most importantly for these athletes that will, get a chance to hopefully move on to, they do the combine they do the combine actually on Wednesday. So hopefully, they get to, that exposure. The game is on next Sunday. So hopefully, they have the scouts out from the CFL and the NFL, get a chance to look at these kids. So hopefully, you know, they'll come out on the winning side. I do believe Austin Howard. There's a couple of guys that I've talked to that I know for sure that are going. So really excited about that.
Right. I so wish I could be joining you, Kels, but unfortunately, two lucky individuals, or probably a group of people, both won my Powerball and my Mega Millions. I tried profusely to win those jackpots so I can, you know, retire from my job and I can just start hitting the road covering Black College Experience sports. But unfortunately, someone won my money. So I have to find another way. So, but people, you have anything else?
No.
Kels, you have any parting shots?
I don't have anything else.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more Black College Experience next week. Kels, will you still be in Virginia?
I'll on my way back. I should be on my way back, but of course I'll let you know what happens, you know, if anything comes up, but I'll let you know. But I should be on my way back, coming back from Virginia. It just depends on what time the game actually is on Sunday.
So, are we going to be on next week, or are we going to be postponing since you're going to be traveling?
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll let you know probably in the middle of the week because I got to make sure, you know, see what's going on. But whatever it is, I'll let you know early in the week. So probably by Tuesday. I know definitely by tomorrow, Tuesday. So, yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you all make sure you wish Kels safe travels as she travels to blaze her trail, covering the Dream Bowl for the first time on behalf of Black College Experience. I am Derek Thomas. She is Diva Queen Kels. We are out of here.
Good night. Bye-bye.